Hello, what's up, y'all? It's your guy, Mr. Haywood from Haywoods Pool and Spa. Hope y'all doing all right. We're gonna go ahead and give a few seconds and let's see if we can get a few people in the room. Let me go ahead and queue up my article and be with you in a few minutes. All right. Okay, I got the article queued up. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. All right, y'all. So, hey, man, this is part 2 of our education series. You know, we started an education series last episode. We're talking about filter care, different types of filters. All right, so we're reading out of the Pool and Spa News. It's like a digital magazine, and we're reading under the title "The Ultimate Tech Guide." All right, Ultimate Tech Guide. So again, here at Haywoods Pool and Spa, what we what we are here to do is not only take you along with us as we're building accounts, as we're out at the different customers, clients, locations. We also want to do an education series. A part of what we do is to educate the public on different topics and different things. They'll be random, you know what I mean? And so you can always go back in our history and look at part 1, part 2 to kind of get a feel for what type of filter you have and some different tips and topics, different tips and ideas on what you can do to have proper filter care. All right. So again, this week we're going to be talking about DE filters, right? Diatomaceous Earth Filters. Uh, and we're going to talk about practical tips and advice on caring for diatomaceous earth filters. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in this thing. Okay, so diatomaceous earth filters have the lowest micron rating of any style of pool filter. Okay, they filter down from 1 to 6 microns. All right, so to put it in perspective, a grain of ordinary table salt is approximately 100 microns. Just to kind of give you a feel for what a micron is and the different sizes. All right. So a sand filter has micron ratings of 20 to 40. Okay. And cartridge filters come in at about 5 to 20. Okay. So obviously, the lower the microns, the more filtration happens, right? The better the filter, the tighter the weave. In this case, you're dealing with a material, so it's other than like a cartridge filter or even a sand. The DE is like this tightly woven stuff that allows again the you to filter out more than just big things. Like for instance, certain filters can take out more of the contaminants or bather waste for proper lingo. For the purposes of this video, bather waste, okay, which is basically not what waste is what we think of. It's more of lotions, soaps, oils, and things that come off a bather's body. Because let's face it, most people don't go take a full shower before they jump in the pool. Okay, most filter most people putting on sunscreen. They're putting on different types of lotions, different things to try to protect their skin as they get in the water, but it becomes an issue, right, for the chemical balance of the water and ultimately the filtration system. Okay, the simple fact is that a DE filter can remove more and smaller pieces of dirt and debris from pool water than any other filter, and thereby keep the water sparkling clean for swimmers, and which is what we come to do, right? So therefore, a DE filter, could be an option, right? Depending on what you have. I don't know how expensive that may be for you, but it may be an option. So something to look into. All right. So, and then again, sparkling clean water is what we're here for, right? That's what you hire your pool guy for, is to make sure that the water is sparkling clean and it's inviting for all your guests, family, friends. All right. Once you learn how DE filter works, you can better understand how and why they need cleaning and re-earthing. Okay. And again, re-earthing is just cleaning and then putting a particular element back in so that the filter works properly. All right. A DE filter makes no sense when you think about it. You backwash the filter to clean it, then you put some kind of powder junk back into the filter. The most common question people ask when I re-earth a filter is, doesn't the DE just clog up the filter again? Y'all remember things that make you go, There was a talk show host back in the day that used to say that all the time. Things that make you go, All right. So no, the DE is what does the filtering. So no, it's not going to clog the filter. It's what does the filtering. All right. Inside all DE filters are grids. Some are round, some are square. Most of them are semicircular. Okay. And these grids have a cloth covered plastic frame. Most people think that it is cloth that does the filtering. So what do you need a DE for? Okay. But that's again, most people. And that's why we're here at Haywoods Pool and Spa, to bring some education, to bring some enlightenment, so that you can have a better understanding of what a DE filter is and exactly what it does. All right. Okay. So the DE on the grid is called the filter cake, and the water is filtered as it passes through the filter cake. The woven polypropylene cloth on the grid is specifically made to hold the DE in place. Okay, so it's the grid that holds the DE in place. The cloth filter you see on the outside is just, what it is. Now, it also does what it does, but the filter grid under the cloth is what holds the material in place. Okay. Another misunderstanding about DE filters is that if you backwash long enough, it is as good as opening the filter tank and cleaning the filter by hand. Wrong. Man, I'm gonna have to get me some type of sound effects to go along with this stuff, and yeah, that way I can hit some buttons. Wrong, right? All backwashing does is run the water backwards through the filter, because water takes the path for least resistance. Backwashing remove only part of the filter cake. To really clean the filter, you must open it and clean it all. Okay. Though all DE filters work the same way, some can be backwashed while others cannot. So again, I guess it just depends on what yours looks like, right? Whether or not it can be backwashed. So whether or not your filter can be backwashed, if you happen to be a homeowner taking care of your own pool, please consult with your local pool store, right? Pool supply house. Where I'm at, there's a bunch of different private companies. I don't have those names off the top of my head, but a company that everybody knows is Leslie's. Okay, Leslie's Pool Supply. They seem to be pretty worldwide. And then you also have big companies like SCE. No, is it SCP is what the name is. Those guys are pretty friendly. You can kind of go in and ask questions. Although if you are a homeowner and you do not possess a business license for your particular pool company and or have the certification that you need, they're not going to sell you anything. But the guys behind the counter are pretty nice. I've been there before, and they will give you advice and some information. And so, you can always try them too. But Leslie's is a place that generally is homeowner friendly as well as pool operator friendly. And therefore, go in there and talk to your local supply house, like I said, Leslie's. Talk to one of those wonderful people behind the counter, and they'll be happy to put you in the right direction. All right. Now, a non-backwashable filter is much harder to clean because every piece of dirt that filter has trapped since the last time it was cleaned is still in there. Okay, that's the downside about a non-backwashable filter. And for you guys that don't know what backwashing is, okay, let's just say I'll use my drink here. Let's say the pool water goes that way, right? You got the pump on one side, the pump is sucking water through. Your pool water is going through the filter. Now, all backwashing is doing is reversing the flow. You have the little hand valve, you turn it, reverse the flow of the water, and then the water now pushes backwards through that way. So all the dirt that's stuck to the filter for the most part, when you backwash, it'll help get all that off without having to pull the filter completely, opening the system up and pulling the filter completely out and washing it separately. Again, it just depends on the type of filter, but backwashing is something that takes place in pool service. Okay, a backwashable filter is the easiest to clean because you can just backwash the filter into the sewer before starting to clean it. So basically, everything that's stuck to the back of the filter as it's pushing through, you turn that valve, push all the big stuff off, right? Then you can take the filter out and clean it. Most people's backyards, depending on where you're at, are not large enough for you to go to the side and hose it down. It may not be that much of an area. You may have grass around, but you don't want to create flooding type situations in people's yards. So that's why they backwash, because most in-ground pools are plumbed to some type of sewer. So again, only when you backwash or if you decide to drain some of the pool water, it already has by code a place for it to go. Otherwise, you'd have to fill a person's backyard up. And again, depending on what their setup is, if you don't have the backwash hose, 100 feet of backwash hose that you can connect and run all the way down to the street to let it run down the street, end up in the sewer anyway, then this system of pools being plumbed is a great idea, right? It's a total great idea. All right, so, and in some cases, if it's not plumbed, like I say, if you got an above ground, in ground, you may have to run that 100 feet of backwash hose to some type of sewer line anyway. Again, it all just depends on your circumstances, right, and your location and how the pool is set up. But back to the article. A backwashable filter is easy to clean, like I said, because you can backwash it into the sewer before starting to clean it. It's hard to believe, but thousands upon thousands of pools were built with no way to run the dirty backwash water into the sewer as it came out of the filter. Okay. In the days those pools were built, you could just run a back hose out to the street and dump your water there. Not anymore. Okay. Not anymore. Not anymore. Like I said earlier, backwash hose out to the street, running out to the street. But that's not how, man, depending on where you live, all the different codes and different things that come into place can prevent you from being able to do that. Okay. So like I say, not anymore. Now, in most cities, you can get fined for running clean pool water down the street. It's clean pool water, but the water still has chemicals and things in it, right? So it ain't necessarily clean. It's clean to the site, but not necessarily clean once you start testing the water. So, you don't want fines, right? We want to stay away from fines because that's not a good look when you think that you're going to a client's property, taking care of a client, and you end up with a fine, right? I'm no longer making money. I'm losing money. So please make sure before you get started, whether you're a licensed pool operator or not, please check with your city and understand the different codes, the local codes, to find out what's really going on and how the different municipalities run things so that you can avoid fines at all costs. Okay. So again, now in most cities, you can get fined for running clean pool water down the street, let alone dirty backwash water, right? So remember, many cities and counties have specific regulations controlling the disposal of spent DE. Okay. Obviously, if you have a sand filter, you have the ability to do the same thing. You can spent sand. If you have a cartridge filter, then you don't have to worry about it because the cartridge is right there with you. Take the cartridge out, clean them, prep them and put them back in, or put new ones in. Make sure you do all your prep work. Like I said, last episode we talked about cartridge filters. So please take the time to review that video, part 1, on our filter education series, and it's again, from the Ultimate Tech Manual, and we were talking about cartridge filter care. All right. So if you see me look away, that's because I'm looking at my notes. Just want to make sure I stay focused. And so, yeah, it was in part 1. Okay. So, with some even requiring that the dirt be stored in a container and disposed of at a designated location. Okay, so to avoid legal issues for yourself and your customer, get up to speed with local ordinances which I've already said. A quick call to your local health department should give you the information that you need. And yeah, now sometimes getting through the county is kind of tricky. All depends on what day, what time. Make sure that you call first thing in the morning. I believe, I've dealt with the county, and you'll have a better response time as opposed to calling after lunch, right? So always give a quick call to your local health department, again, to find out your guidelines before you begin to deal with the spent DE. Like I said, do you have to bucket it and take it to a proper location? Where's that at? Or what other options do you have? Always want to know your options. That's how you stay out of trouble, is knowing what your options are, right? And also gives you the edge on the competition with knowing what your options are. And in our business, right, there's enough room for everybody, but what makes your pool company better than the other guy, right? What makes you being a licensed guy better than the guy who's not licensed? It's education. It's understanding things and knowing how to communicate with the customer, to educate the customer, to bring them up to speed so they can relax and understand that they're in hands like a good neighbor. Haywoods Pool and Spa is there. All right. I got to charge you for that one if you want me to do that again. All right. So, again, remember to check with your local ordinances. Again, a quick local call to the health department should give you the information that you need. Finally, I would like to point out one major misconception, okay, and that many pool technicians and homeowners have when it comes to filters. Okay, we're just about done, y'all, but I'm going to bring you in. Okay, I'm bringing you in. We save the good part for last. A filter can only remove solid particles from water. Okay, it cannot purify the pool water. Now, as you guys know, that I've dibbled and dabbled with a little heating and air conditioning, and that's the question people used to ask all the time. What does the filter filter? What does the filter filter? Does the filter really filter the air? Oh, you know what, man? And so we were not supposed to tell people the truth, but every now and again, man, you come across a customer that you feel for, and you got to tell them the truth. The filter don't filter the air. All the filter does is keep dirt and particles off the machine so the machine can run longer. Oh, now obviously if you got a HEPA filter or something like that, then yeah, now it's woven tightly enough for the microns to be small enough for it to possibly catch some of the stuff that's in the air, but it's not 100%. Okay, and that was in that case. But in this case, you just need to know. Again, for those of y'all that might just be coming in, today's episode we're talking about filter care. Okay, and we're reading out of the Ultimate Tech Menu from the Pool to Spa News article, and we're in particular we're talking about DE filter care. Okay, and so just to bring you up to speed, but we're getting ready to wrap this thing up, and so at the end I wanted to talk about major misconception that many new pool technicians and homeowners have when it comes to filters. Now, I'm gonna say that one more time, guys. Major misconceptions that the new pool technician and homeowners have when it comes to filters. Okay, a filter. All right, ready? Grab a seat. A filter can only remove solid particles from the water. Okay, only removes solid particles from the water. Okay, it cannot purify the water. It don't purify the water. Okay. Bacteria and other contaminants are smaller than 1 micron and can pass right through the filter. Okay. So to purify the water, you must use a sanitizer. Man, I should have let that up a question and see how many responses I would have got. Okay, I'll slow down next time, but check it out. To purify the water, you must use a sanitizer such as chlorine. Okay, chlorine is your sanitizer, right? So that's why when your technician shows up once a week, he is supposed to check the levels of that water to make sure that the sanitizer is working properly. Okay. When you're in really hot areas, the sanitizer has an enemy. What do you think the enemy is? What do you think the enemy to sanitizer, aka chlorine, is? Sun. Okay, in case you didn't know. The sun beats down on that chlorine. That's one of the enemies, right? So as the sanitizer is moving through the water, eating that, whatever it's eating that, right, to keep the water sanitized, The sun also beats down on it too and allows it to lose its aggressiveness at being able to clean or sanitize that water properly. So you have to add other chemicals in there to protect the chlorine. Okay. And then obviously there's other different levels and things that you put in the water to keep the pH at a certain level. You got to keep the calcium at a certain level. You got to keep the calcium hardness, the pH, things of that nature, right? We can go on and on, but that's for a different episode. That's not for this episode right here. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Okay, so make sure that you check out Mr. Haywoods and expertise in the series of videos, right? Because will become an expert. I'm becoming an expert. The truth is, do you guys know that if I read the article before you, that makes me the expert? It is what it is, y'all. But thank y'all for coming through. Like I said, I always want to do. But one more thing before we go, I want to talk to you about the acid treatment, okay? If the grids have become plugged with suntan oils or covered in scale, okay? And by the way, scale shows up on the grid as a yellow tinge or a discoloration. You soak them overnight in a solution of TSP or dishwater detergent and gently clean with a hose, okay? You want to rinse completely, all right? You add a drop or two of muriatic acid to the grids, and this is a test. If they foam and bubble up, okay, then there's scale on the grids, right? That's a quick way of knowing. You add a drop or two of muriatic acid to the grids. Muriatic acid is something that's used to help clean the filters and stuff like that. But you add a drop or two of it has other properties too, other things you're supposed to do with it. But in this case, you can just take a drop or two of this acid, put it on the grids. If they foam and bubble up, then there's scale on the grids. And they will need to be washed in a mild muriatic acid solution in a 5-gallon bucket. Okay. You mix 10 parts water, 1 part acid, voila. Okay. In your 5-gallon bucket. Okay. You place the grids on the bucket, in the bucket, and using the scoop, you pour the solution over the grids. You pour the solution like cascading over the grids. Okay. Note, there's also are solutions on the market that can contain a detergent as well as acid. Okay. So all depends on what you want to do. You can get it where it's mixed. You can get it where you're doing 1 or 2 steps. You do what's easier for you, okay? I'm just here to bring the education and bring the information to help you keep your filters in tip-top condition, all right? When the bubbler stops, rinse the filter completely with water, neutralize the acid water with the soda ash, and dispose of the solution in an eco-safe manner, okay? Turn the filter on immediately after reassembly, or the residual acid will rust the filter, okay? Because the muriatic acid going into the water ain't necessarily a bad thing. You just have to control how much of it's going in, right? Because it'll obviously we're worried about the pH balance, right? So you want to make sure your pH is always balanced. All right. Warning. If you acid wash the grids before soaking them, the oils will become permanently attached to the grids and they will need to be replaced. All right. So you can't acid wash first. All right. You don't want to acid wash first. But again, replay the video as many times as you need to try to understand what I'm saying. Okay. Because again, you have to make sure that you're following the proper steps. Otherwise, you have to replace the grids and might get expensive for you. Might be a cost that you wasn't expecting simply because you didn't wash the grids properly. Now, again, if you have any questions, always refer to your local pool operator, the pool house, your pool retail store. Again, in this case, for most people, it's Leslie's Pool Supply. Now, there may be Dave's Pool Supply, Tom's. You go to whoever you trust in your town, in your city, to get the information that you need, whoever makes you feel comfortable, whoever you feel like pays you the most attention, right? Because that's really what it's about. Who services me the best. And go talk to them. Spend time, take notes, and ask them the proper way to do it. They'll be more than happy to help you. I also believe, and right now what I'm doing is I'm referring to my Taylor test kit 2005C. There's a book that comes in here real quick. I'm going to look through this book real quick and see if it tells you about that. I think there's something in the back that might tell you how to do that. Yeah, bear with me real quick. I'm just going to get some more information for you because, again, we're about helping the people. So let's see. So, so, and this is nice, man. It comes with like a little waterproof book. It's like a little go-to, especially when you want to know how to decrease the pH, to increase alkalinity. You know, when it comes to amount of chlorine that's supposed to be in the pool, your shock tables. How do you decrease chlorine with sodium, thiosulfate? I mean, a lot of different things are in this book, and it's pretty interesting. But you know what? No, it doesn't tell you about filters and how to clean the filters per se. So I thought I'd be able to give you another reference point. But as I'm looking through it real quick, I don't see it. I don't see it. Okay, cool. We're going to move on. Let's move on. All right. So check it out, man. I want to thank you guys for coming through. Thank you for the time. Thank you for your time. By the way, this is what that book looks like. It's called The Pool and Spa Water Chemistry. I just thought that it might have some information. And this is a real handy book when it comes to go to a real quick resource without having to go to your phone or get on the phone and call one of your buddies that maybe been in the game longer than you. But anyway, hey, man. Again, today we talked about filters. Okay, in particular, DE filters. We're reading out of the Pool and Spa News, out of the Ultimate Tech Guide, Ultimate Tech Manual. All right, so you can go look it up if you want. There's a lot of stuff out there, but again, we're just doing our part at Haywoods Pool and Spa to bring you this education. And hey, man, we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure. And I see you on the next episode. All right, talk to you soon. Love you to life. Always remember, Haywoods Pool and Spa. We're located in the greater Antelope Valley area. So if you're ever out there, you need some care, please be sure to use our telephone number. It's 323-781-6329. And yeah, man, let's talk, man. Let's talk. In the meantime, you can find me at Haywoods Pool and Spa on YouTube, or you can also find us. You can email me if you wanted to email me at Haywoods Pool Spa, which is Haywoods Pool, take the N out, Pool Spa, which is one word, Haywoods Pool Spa at gmail.com. And go ahead, man, and drop us some information. Let's talk about it. I'll be sure to try to answer your questions in the next live stream. And let's go from there, man. Let's build this thing. We're going to turn this thing into one of the biggest, you know, that ever existed. All right? Haywoods Pool and Spa. I am Mr. Haywood. And, man, let's do this thing. All right? See you at the next pool.